Evolution of computers. Computer is an electronic machine. It is, in fact, a wonderful machine that can perform a variety of tasks. It is very complicated in its construction, but very easy to use. As far as its invention is concerned, it was not invented by any one person. Actually, man wanted to develop a calculating machine. Working on this concept for many centuries, man finally succeeded in developing a machine that we use today as computer. Earlier, man used fingers, stones and bones to keep records of their cattle and money. But they were incapable of calculating large numbers and mathematical operations. About 5,000 years ago, Chinese developed the first calculating device called abacus. Abacus. It was made up of a simple wooden frame with rods. Each rod had a definite number of beads. It was mainly used by merchants and traders to count the money and items they sold or bought. It was also used to perform basic calculations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Students in the primary classes are still taught abacus to perform calculations quickly and accurately. After abacus, no any significant calculating machine was developed for centuries. Napier's bones. In 1616, Sir John Napier made a calculating device named Napier's bones. It was made up of rectangular rods made up of bone, ivory, wood, or metal. These rectangular rods had numbers written on them. Napier's bones was mainly used for multiplication and division. Pascaline. In 1641, Blaise Pascal invented the Pascaline, the first mechanical calculator. It looked like a rectangular box. Numbers were shown on the rotating wheels. It was mainly developed for accounting purposes. The first Pascaline could handle only 5-digit numbers, but later versions could handle 6 and 8-digit numbers as well. Difference engine. The difference engine was designed by Charles Babbage in 1822. It was designed to do mathematical operations up to 6 decimal places. It was one of the earliest automatic calculators. Analytical engine. In 1837, Charles Babbage developed another calculating machine called analytical engine. It was a mechanical computer first of its kind that could solve even more complex calculations, including multiplication and division. The basic parts of the analytical engine resembled the components of a simple computer system. It had 5 units: input, output, store, mill, and control. Generations of computers. Analytical engine created a base for the development of modern computer. The computer that we use today was not built in a day. It has gone through different stages of development during past several decades. Computers can be classified into different generations based on the specific technologies used to build them. Let us discuss the characteristics of each generation. First generation computers, 1940 to 1958. Following were the characteristics of first generation computers. They used vacuum tubes. They used punched card for input and output. They calculated data in milliseconds. They were very large in size but had small internal storage capacity. Their programming speed was very slow. They were expensive and consumed a large amount of energy. Examples: Mark I, ENIAC, EDSAC, EDVAC, and UNIVAC. Let us read about first-generation computers in detail. Mark I. In 1944, Howard H. Aiken designed the first fully automatic calculator called Mark I. It was about 15 meters long. The machine was slow and took 3 to 5 seconds for each calculation. ENIAC. In 1946, J.P. Eckert and J.W. Mauchly developed the first electronic computer called ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, to solve computing-related problems. EDSAC, Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator. The EDSAC was designed by Professor M. Wilkes of Cambridge University, England, in the year 1949. It was slightly faster than the ENIAC. It weighed approximately 6,000 kilograms and occupied an area of 20 square meters. It was the first electronic computer that used stored programs. EDVAC, Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. The EDVAC was proposed by John P. Eckert and John W. Mauchly in 1944 when the ENIAC was being developed. John von Neumann, who also gave the concept of stored programs, joined them later to help in designing the EDVAC. It was finally completed in 1948. The EDVAC weighed approximately 8,000 kilograms and covered an area of 45.5 square meters. It had capacity to hold stored programs as well as data. UNIVAC. J.P. Eckert and J.W. Mauchly developed another computer, UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computer, in 1951. It was the first commercially available electronic computer. Weighing around 13,000 kilograms, it covered 35.5 square meter area. It was the first computer to handle both numeric and text data. Second generation computers, 1959 to 1963. Transistor. They used transistors instead of vacuum tubes. They used punched cards and magnetic tapes for input and output. They were faster, cheaper, smaller, and more efficient than the first generation computers. They could calculate data in microseconds. They were costly and could be used only for specific purposes. Examples: RCA 501, IBM 1401. Third generation computers, 1964 to 1970. They used integrated circuits, ICs, in place of transistors. An IC is also called a semiconductor chip and may contain thousands of transistors. They used a keyboard for input and a monitor for output. They used an operating system to run different programs at the same time. They were smaller, faster, cheaper, and more efficient than early computers. Hence, they were made available for general public. Examples: IBM 360, IBM 370, Apple I, ICL 1900. Fourth generation computers, 1971, present. They use microprocessors. Microprocessors are very large-scale integrated circuits, VLSICs, which contain many ICs on a single chip. They use keyboard, mouse, scanner, and so on for input, and monitor, printer, speakers, and so on for output. They are more powerful and reliable than previous generations. They have high storage capacity. They are much smaller, faster, and cheapest among all previous generations. Examples: IBM PC, Apple Macintosh, HP 9000. Fifth generation computers, future. Computers with artificial intelligence are put in the fifth generation computers. These computers are expected to come in near future with the following characteristics. Artificial intelligence, a technology that makes a computer able to think like humans and perform human-like tasks such as voice recognition, decision-making, and translate between languages. Use of super large-scale integrated chips. Ability to recognize image and voice and react accordingly. Ability to solve complex problems including decision-making and logical reasoning. Classification of computers. You studied about the classification of computers on the basis of different developmental stages. Let us classify the computers on the basis of their size, performance, and capacity. Supercomputers. Supercomputers are the most powerful and reliable computers. However, they are bigger in size and very expensive. They often occupy several rooms. They can process trillions of instructions per second. Government organizations and large industries used them for nuclear energy research, weather forecasting, earthquake studies, space research, and so on. Examples: Param, Cray. Mainframe computers. Mainframe computers can also process data at very high speed, and they are also quite expensive. They can be used by more than 100 users at a time. They are mainly used for bulk data processing in the big organizations. Examples: IBM Z Series, NEC 610. Mini computers. Mini computers are less advanced as compared to mainframe computers in terms of speed and storage capacity. They are also less expensive than mainframe computers. They are used for stock analysis, reservation, banking, etc. Examples: PDP-2, HP 2100. Microcomputers. Microcomputers are small in size and less expensive. They are also called personal computers as only one person can use it at a time. Microcomputers are specially designed for general use like entertainment, education, and office work. Microcomputers are of the following types. Desktop computers are designed to be placed on a desk, so they are called desktop computers. Laptops are smaller in size than a desktop computer and can be placed on the lap of the user. Tablets and palm tops are much smaller than laptops and can be carried along easily. Advantages of a computer. Accuracy. It always gives correct result unless it is given wrong data or instructions. Speed. It can process huge data and perform huge calculations very quickly. Diligence. It does not get tired or bored like humans do. It can work for hours doing the same job. High storage. It can store a large amount of data and information for future use, which can be easily retrieved whenever it is needed. Versatility. It can perform different tasks, so it is used at different places for different kinds of work. Multitasking. It can work upon different tasks simultaneously. Limitations of computer. A computer cannot work on its own. It needs to be instructed what to do and how to do. It cannot take decisions on its own. It is believed that these sorts of limitations would be removed in the 5th generation computers.